Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Acquire podcast from the Audphonic Podcast Network. And I'm your host, Jenny Wright. I'm a list build and lead generation specialist. I'm also a fractional CMO. And for the purpose of this episode, we're going to talk about my late adoption to AI, but the amazing results I've been able to get. And before we get into our incredible experts who are going to be on this, I want to tell you quickly about a huge amount of results that I'm getting. And then I'm going to introduce our guest, which is insane. So I have a podcast. You're obviously listening to it. And either you're on YouTube or you're here listening to it on whatever channel you're on. And what I've been able to see in the past 90 days is a 40% increase in the downloads and the listens on the podcast. We've seen a 78% increase in the last 28 days. And get this, 142% increase in the downloads and listens in the past 7 days. That's phenomenal for me. This podcast started in August of 2023, and this is the result we're just starting to see now. So it's been a bit coming. And I can attribute this, I think, to a couple things. One, maybe people like it and they're listening more. Awesome. But partially, I think I'm doing better show notes, better marketing, better social media, and I'm utilizing two incredible tools. One just happens to be a human, and the other happens to be an AI tool created by the other human that's here. So two humans here. We have Deirdre Tshien and Katie Brinkley, two of my favorite people in the entire world. And Deirdre is the creator of Capsho, or co-founder of Capsho, and Katie Brinkley is an author, a speaker, and she also created the 4-post strategy, which is now integrated into Capsho. So best of both worlds. Ladies, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, this is going to be so much fun. I told you, Jenny, at the beginning that I'm just going to be here to be Katie's hype girl. So everything, I'm just going to be like, listen to Katie.
I know.
She is she's like social media genius. So I can't wait to get into her strategy again.
Oh, my job here is done. Thanks, ladies. You made my day better. I'm just going to head on out now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Katie, you've been working on my social media or working, like, developing and creating the strategy and doing it all for well over a year. And at one point you were doing it on Instagram and LinkedIn. And recently we switched the strategy specifically to LinkedIn, and especially only LinkedIn. And we're using all sorts of different, things, but it's in your 4-post strategy. So what is the 4-post strategy? Why is this so important? And why would a SaaS amazing AI software like Capsho integrate it into their software?
Well, it's because it's genius, Jenny. No,
there's literally no other reason.
Honestly, it's thank you. First of all, thank you for having me back on the show. I think this is my 3rd time on the Acquire podcast. It's always a pleasure being here with you. So thanks again for having me. But the 4-post strategy, and you're one of the easiest people to work with, because I say, hey, what do you think about trying this? And you're like, yeah, sounds good. You just believe in the process. So
I believe in you too.
Yeah. Right now, Instagram's having a bit of an identity crisis, and it doesn't know if it wants to be short form carousels, like pictures, if it's, AI, it doesn't know what it is. And so a lot of my clients have kind of been struggling with Instagram as a whole. And LinkedIn, I've been seeing a lot of results with, just based on using the 4-post strategy. So if you haven't heard about what the 4-post strategy is, or go back and listen to the other episodes, or I can just give you the quick, Cliff Notes version. So the awareness to action strategy is the 4-post strategy. So making people aware of the problem that you can solve for them, while not really just saying, hey, come buy from me, or hey, go listen to my podcast. And so the 4-post strategy starts with an awareness post, then an elaboration, then a community building post, and then finally an action post where people go and take action from what you leave social media to go one step further with you.
It is phenomenal. Go ahead, Deirdre.
I was going to say, it's almost so stupid how simple it is. It's not in a bad way.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm not.
But the best strategies are simple.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's just when you hear it, and then I don't know about you, Jenny, but for us, when we started implementing it, because we hired Katie as well to help us through it, and it was this is it kind of like, duh, of course. Like,
Right?
this is how we should be using social media. Like, you feel stupid, but it's like in a kind of in a good way, like, wow, it gets to be this simple. Like, really? This and it works. Like, that's why I call Katie a genius, because it's just
and just
genius.
before what you're going to say, Katie, like the reason that it's simple is because Katie's put in like over 15 years of work and effort for it to be simple. Like none of us could have thought this up, right? And
Well,
because the 15 years previous makes it possible for her to go, aha, the 4-post strategy, like, and we're like, holy crap, why didn't anybody else think of it? And I think, and a lot of people get that, like, people are like, why didn't we think to do CapShow? Or, people call me a summit queen or whatever, and how I organize them. Why didn't anybody else think of it? Well, I've just been doing it for so bloody long. Like, Katie. So Katie, we're not saying you are simple. We're saying the 4-post strategy is awesome.
Well, and the thing is, with this strategy, it is posting less, which I think is a kind of, people are like, wait, you want me to post less on social media? And when COVID, shut the world down and all of us had nothing better to do other than just create and consume content, it made us really forget about what the true meaning behind social media was, and that was connection. And I think that with all the social media going out there right now, when I tell people, okay, so I'm going to put some numbers out. There's over 95 million photos uploaded to Instagram every day, 95 million. And Facebook just celebrated its 20th anniversary. Which is crazy. Facebook's been around 20 years, and they have over 2.1 billion daily active users. And here I am saying, well, yeah, you just need to post less, but it's because so many people have gotten into the habit of, okay, I'm just going to share it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it. And it doesn't matter if it's any good. All that matters is that I post it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
This is where the strategy, the 4-post strategy, really takes that. Why post so much if it sucks? Let's post stuff that people actually want to read, they want to engage with. And that's going to make it so that social media works for you and you build out that community.
Oh my gosh, we are so aligned on this. This is why I think, Katie, on something else, you called us business soul sisters, because it's like every time, because like I come up from a different perspective, from like the AI perspective, right? And it was like, when ChatGPT launched, and then there's all these other tools, and we contributed to that for sure, around, like, I call it the content vomit, right? It's so easy now to create content that everyone's just vomiting all over the place with like all the stuff, to Katie's point, because they feel like they need to be posting all the time on social media. And so there's kind of this really cool, where Katie's gone from the social media perspective, I'm coming from the AI perspective, and we've kind of met in the middle to be like, can we please not just post rubbish on the internet? Because I think we all collectively need less of that.
Yes.
And let's actually be intentional and talk specifically and connect deeply with our part of the internet. And I think that's where the merging of, like, to your point, Jenny, the two tools, one being human and one being, an AI, like, has just really, it's just been magic, because, Katie's strategy is all about, let's be intentional and let's actually get results. And hey, we can still leverage AI, if you're the right person to leverage AI, by the way, to help us do that more efficiently.
Correct. And the next thing that makes me think is not everybody should be using AI. And this is where, this is where it comes in, where you have to say, look, I'm just not the right person. I can't spend the time, energy, whatever, training up an AI to speak like me or whomever and be able to use it effectively, which is where I turn to the human genius and I say, please take care of it for me, because I can't get, and I'm pretty good with AI, but I can't get my AI, I can't train up my AI to sound as good as what Katie's outputs are in, like, whatever she's doing, on LinkedIn for me. And she has a team and they create amazing graphics and so on and so forth. But there's some people that just should not be the person doing the thing. I'm better off. And Katie and I had this conversation around one of my emails that I sent. She's like, was that AI? And I'm like, shh. don't tell. And she goes, Jenny, you need to write your own. Like you're so much better. Like you're a much better writer. Don't be falling into this trap.
Yes.
Write your own
Yes.
stuff. And she's
Yeah.
like, I got you on this side.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. I'm happy to take that, Katie, because like so Katie and I just came back from, gosh, a week ago. We were at this event, CX, which is an amazing event, hosted by Joe Polisi. And it was very much, it's for content entrepreneurs. And the theme, surprise, surprise, was very much around AI and for content. And I was really blown away by I thought I was going to come out of it being like, oh my gosh, like it is going to be so easy for us to use AI. And I think it is, depending on the level of care that we have. It's kind of like to that point of like, Jenny, you're better than this. Like you know, we don't want to know that your emails are being written by AI because you are better than that. And when I look at how people were using AI, I came out of it going, oh my gosh, it is actually a lot of work that goes into whether it's like creating and training your own custom GPTs or, you know, being really heavily involved in the editing process after that, all of that. There's actually a lot of work. And I think, you know, we just have to acknowledge that there are going to be people in the industry who make a living out of knowing AI inside and out and talking about how simple it is, like, right? Because they're being paid to speak about it and stuff, but it's actually not that easy. And it's really not that simple. And so if people are not, and they don't like, I think about someone who has a full-time business, they have a full-time life, of course, like, you know, whether it's kids or other things. And they're sitting there like trying to create and, you know, like all of this stuff. I'm like, there is just actually no way. There is actually no way. And so that's where I go, if you're in that like great content.
Welcome everyone to the second installment now of Players Only, where we take you inside the capture world of we content, break down what we're up to so that you can kind of see that we are very much alongside you playing this content game. We too are in it to win it. We very much want to win our content game, and hopefully with some of that insight you can kind of get some tidbits that can kind of, you know,
all we can hear is
Ash
talking on like double speed.
Kind of reset. I am Ash. This is, I was going to say, who are we? We are the other two co-founders of Capshow. So you would very much know Deirdre.
Listening to Ash
you might have come across one, you would definitely not come across myself. But we're here each week to, I guess, bend your ear for 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know how long we're going to take each week. But before we get into it, I know that we really do, like I said, wanted to chat about the content that we're really focusing on this week.
Yeah, so the crazy thing is that Katie and I just came back from this event. We went together, CX, which is hosted by Joe Polisi. It's an amazing event. It's for content entrepreneurs. And, you know, surprise, the whole theme of it was around AI. And I expected, to be honest, I don't know about you, Katie, to like walk out of that event being like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so simple to leverage all of the AI tools to create all the content that we need. And I actually walked out of it going, oh my gosh, like how is anyone who has a full-time job, a full-time life, like all of the things, going to be able to do any of this stuff? And what I realized was that there are some people who are obviously incentivized to, learn, go deep into AI and all the things that you can do because they're paid to speak about it or whatever. That's their whole brand. But it's actually not that simple. And so when I think about that, I just go, like people who do have a really full life, who still do not want to be consumed by content, and even if they think that AI can make it easier, you've just got to keep, like, it goes back to principles, right? It's the who, not the how. Like, outsource that. Use someone like Katie, who is absolutely amazing at what she does, and actually get results. Like, I think for me, that's the bottom line of, AI can make things easier, but to what end and for what purpose?
And I think it still needs the guidance, right, Katie? Like it still needs a human touch.
Yeah. And this is something that Dee and I have talked about a lot. And I love that, Deirdre, you're like, yes, I'm glad you're saying this, but, AI is there to help you, not replace you. And I use Capshow for my podcast and my videos all the time. I use it for my clients. But there's still something about which we'll get to, but there's still something about having to know your own tone, your own ideal client, your own, like, what are their objectives? Because you can run your podcast, or you can just run content through AI and it's going to give you robot answers.
Mhm.
This is where you have to make sure that you have it lined up so that it understands your tone, it understands your style, it understands, your target audience. And that's really what I mean, you and I have worked on together, Dee, with trying to elevate AI so that it eliminates that
Yes.
whole barrier of sounding like a robot.
And uses those like those
Yeah, for
first
sure.
words that everybody knows is AI.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So just off the top of your head, Gigi, what's that list? Like discover
Oh
what?
my God.
Like
So yeah, unlock, unleash, supercharge. You know what? The one, like it's so funny because I
Demystify.
actually demystify,
demystify.
treasure trove, delve, so many.
Yeah.
I actually
Who
use the
says
word game
delve?
changer quite a lot, like in
No, nobody in the
and now it's
21st
like,
century says no.
no, yeah. But yeah, so there are some words that I'm like, oh, man, they have stolen that from me. I used to use it all the time and now I just can't because it's stolen from me. But yeah, the thing, and okay, so I want to go back to what Katie was saying because about the tone of voice and things like that. So what Katie was alluding to was that we've done a ton of work to uplift Capsho. We're about to release Capsho Next Gen, which excitingly has Katie's strategy built into it. It does have, you can train for your custom tone of voice. It has self-learn of that. But I just want to make it really clear that like there's still time and effort that needs to get put into training it's kind of like putting time and effort into training a VA or like anyone on your team, anyone that you recruit. It's pretty much the same thing. And for people who have the time and the patience, awesome. Yep, AI can totally work for you. But I know that there are a ton of people out there who just do not have that time. And I always go back to, well, please don't expect that AI can work for you because not only do you have to put the time in upfront, but you do also have to invest the time after to the point so that you don't get the email or the text from Katie saying you're better than this. Write your own email.
That destroyed me, by the way, for like about
I'm so sorry.
like I mean, I literally crumbled for the first 60 seconds and I'm like, she's right. Okay. Because just like everybody else. All right. And I talked about this with like the crypto side and like all these different things. It's a huge pendulum swing. Everybody's on board and this is going to replace everything and it's the best thing ever. And it's going to replace copywriters and it's going to replace like blah, blah, blah. Right. And you saw a whole bunch of businesses fire their marketing teams and replace it with ChatGPT. And then their content reach, their lead generation, their sale, everything went and imploded because they didn't train it properly. They thought it was like the solution for the world. And now we're seeing the pendulum swing come back and it'll flip back and forth a little bit and then eventually it'll center out. And we see that with everything. Like I said, we saw it with, crypto. We saw it with a whole bunch of things. We all swing. Like remember Clubhouse? Like it was the best thing in the entire world. And I mean, Katie was on that early and owned it basically, how much she was on there and how good she did. But then that pendulum swung back. And I think people really need to realize that it's just a tool, right? I use AI as a tool. My team uses it, but then we still have to human touch it. And me sending out that email was just me being part of the bloody pendulum swing and having an idiot moment, right? And just going, boo, I'm just going to do this. And Katie just kind of whipping me in the butt saying, don't do that. You're better than this. I'm like, ugh. But she was right, right? And I've never done it again. I've never done it again. It's like this email is written by a human kind of thing. But I will say that the tools are what are necessary. Like I use Capsho for my entire podcast, right? So show notes, and everything. And because Katie and her team are focusing on my LinkedIn, my team and I are working on, Instagram and Facebook, right? Even though Instagram is having an absolute crisis and has no idea what it is, I'm still posting some content there because it does help to have something there, and Facebook as well. So I'm using funny enough, it's like having Katie inside the software. So I get to still have Katie help me while she's focusing on LinkedIn. But to bring it like totally full circle and come back to the fact that I've seen these huge number increases and that the two women in front of me are the exact reason why my podcast has been taking off in the past 90 days, is because of the ability to focus and create really good content that people are happy to read or listen to, that are, that's highly connected, that isn't generic and doesn't come in talking about, using crazy AI buzzwords,
Well,
right?
no, I was going to say, Jenny, too, like this is where I think a lot of people are lost with social media, just because like the days of just the generic Canva stock templates and the generic stock imagery and stock photos and happy Mother's Day, and then include like a bunch of random hashtags, like all of that doesn't make sense anymore.
No.
It's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of the social media viewers' time. Honestly, that's why they're not engaging. So how can you create content time and time again that's going to make people stop their scroll? And it's by creating stuff that they want to see, but it's not doing the same type of thing over and over and over again. And that's where the 4-post strategy is designed to help you post less, but still give the user that's opening up their phone or on their desktop or laptop and the social media platform what it wants, which is a variety of content. So I think that we really, Dee, I told you this, both of you ladies, honestly, like, thanks for believing in the strategy so much, because it is a mindset shift. Like I was just did I did a talk for a mastermind group earlier this week, and I could tell a lot of people were just, wait, so I still don't get it. Like, why wouldn't I want to tell people to go listen to my podcast with every single post? And I was like, because if they wanted to listen to your podcast, they'd open up their podcast player. Like, you have to bring them in to understand what's in it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we
go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to be a bit snarky.
No, be snarky. I love snarky on this podcast.
No, I was going to be like, and did you ask them how those posts have been going, Katie?
Yeah. And that's why they're frustrated. They're
Exactly.
like, oh, well, no, I want more downloads. That's like the most common struggle with, podcast hosts. They're like, oh, I want more downloads. I want more downloads. It's like, okay, well, more downloads is great, but what are the right people downloading it now? Like, let's make the right people raise their hand, because your audience on Instagram, maybe only 10% of them are actually your ideal clients and customers. They don't even know that you have a podcast or what it's about. Let's make them want to listen.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest and share something a little interesting. Katie, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
This is like the confessional. I feel like
I know. Yeah.
But okay. So it was about a month. It was actually about 2 months ago. I messaged you and Alicia Barr, another friend we all know. And I said, guys, my podcast is not doing what I want it to do. Right. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, just full honest answers. Just come at me. Just say it. And Katie's like, full caps. You're not speaking to you're not doing the right thing to speak to the right people so that they'll open their podcast player and listen to you. I was like,
gosh, you guys make it seem like I'm such a harsh friend. I'm just
no. Like you're
all
not
said
harsh.
with love.
It's all, but you said that too. You said that this is said with love, and then you're like, oh, caps. You're not harsh, right? You're direct, and you only say the truth. Like, you don't fluff it up and stuff. You literally just come and say, Jenny, why did I remember I sent you a message once, and I'm like, hey, you should be proud of me. I did stories and reels and something else, and you're like, yeah, but you're actually competing with the traffic or the post that I did for you, and now it's going to be a problem. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. Thank you. I was a little overzealous. So for me, the reason that I think this is such an important conversation is a lot of people feel lost. And they don't know the right AI. Is it Claude? Is it ChatGPT? Is it, like, what is it? And when it comes to content creation, long form content creation, short form content creation, whatever, the right tool and the right strategy paired together is going to increase your results, which is what we're talking about. I'm seeing the results of following the 4-post strategy and using the right AI slash, it's been properly trained, it's learning my voice, and I don't have to train it, right? So that's what I get out of Capsho. And then I get the 4-post strategy, which is allowing everybody to be able to connect, to understand. We poll people. Those polls are then used to form other content, which I think is just like amazing. But I have a question for you, Katie.
Oh,
and it
gosh.
has to do with, 4-post strategy. Did that come out of your entire like social media blackout that you did? I would think it was like a year and a half or 2 years ago. Like, is that where it came from? Or how was 4-post strategy created? Where did you have the absolute brainchild of this thing?
Well, I've been doing this social media thing for a while, and I've always been looking to make it easier because I'll be honest with you guys. Like I have a social media agency, but like, and I know how incredible of a tool social media can be. Man, opportunities like crazy happen. I just went to a networking event last night, and somebody that I've been connected with on Instagram for 4 years, and I've been following her. I had her on my podcast, and then all of a sudden it was a speed networking event, and she sits down, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, Taylor Williams." She was like, "Oh, Katie Brinkley," and it was so cool because it was like seeing somebody that I had known for 4 years. Magic can happen from social media, but it shouldn't be our entire lives. And I kind of had this brain, baby, when I was at the park with my daughters, and there was a group of teenagers sitting in a circle, and they were all sitting on their phones, not even talking to each other, just dinking around on Snapchat and like taking weird. I don't understand the Snapchat streak thing where you just take a picture of your face, like, and send it to everybody. I don't get it,
I
but
don't either.
it's what all the kids do. But yeah, so I saw that and I was like, God, is this what my kids have to look forward to? Is just going outside on a beautiful day and sitting in a circle on their phone? Like that doesn't sound like a great life to me. So
Yeah.
it's not going to go away. So how can we make our time on social media more impactful? And it, like you said, my social media blackout was in March of 2022. 2023.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, I can't bring myself to post. Like everyone says I need to do a reel. I need to do this. I need to do that. And who said I need to do all these things? Because there's a variety of ways to post on here. And I looked at all of my stats. I looked at all the different ways that these platforms want you to create content. And that's one of the nice things about having access to so many different people's social media accounts is that I could see like, okay, well, Kim's Instagram feed is basically TikTok. It's all short form video. Whereas mine is more carousel posts, even though that was posted 3 days ago. Okay. And like looking to see what everyone's account is like. How are they engaging? How are they creating content and consuming content? And I figured I'm only going to go in on these 2 platforms. I hadn't really been posting on Instagram or on Facebook at the time. So I went all in on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I'd really tried just doing this 4-post strategy where I heard someone saying, "Oh, you got to try doing this on LinkedIn. Oh, you haven't launched a LinkedIn newsletter yet. You got to do that." And I'm like, what if I did all the things that I got to do, but did it with the end goal in mind? I want people to do this. I want them to sign up for my podcast intensive. How am I going to get them there? By using all this content I've created to take them on that journey and use all the different ways this platform wants me to create content in the process. Well, how have I seen the best reach? Let's do that first and charge up the algorithm. And I did this for about 3 weeks. I saw great results, and I was like, let's try doing this for more people. They saw the same results, and it's just really taken off from there. So that was a really long answer, but it's because I don't want people to be on social media so much, honestly. Just create better content and get off and live your life.
A better world for your daughters.
Yes.
Shout out to your kids
Yes.
who are adorable.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. My gosh. Okay. So what's next? What's happening next for both of you? What is the big thing that's, coming your way or that you want to share? Because this partnership, And with transparency, I'm supporting Capture right now, looking for affiliate partnerships and helping people get the word out and stuff, and I'm loving it. So what's coming next? This is, we've got Capture Next Gen that's about to come out as we're recording this. Katie, what's going on with you? Deirdre, what's happening?
Dee, you want to take it?
Yeah.
Take it off?
Okay, cool. I can go first. Yeah. So with Capsho, we're super excited about Capsho Next Gen. Basically what that is we've rebuilt Capsho from the ground up. And with this opportunity, we thought, well, how do we think about things differently, and how do we really, use this time to leapfrog? Like, where does that make sense? Leapfrog, to where
works.
it is to where it is we see the future of content creation. And we knew that, all the things I was talking about and really getting really hyped about like, let's not content vomit all over the internet and things like that. I knew that we wanted to partner with amazing experts like Katie to build strategies that work inside Capsho. And so what I'm really excited about is helping. I feel like I'm one of the I'm like, I was going to say, I'm like a gospel of like Katie. I'm like helping to spread the word. And so I'm really actually excited about doing that. Like from a friendship perspective, I'm really excited about doing that, about just telling more people about Katie and what a genius she is. And look, like, yes, AI is great, and we're on that train because we're obviously in the software SaaS space. But honestly, if you do not have the time to be on social media, because it's not just creating the content, but it's also being on there and engaging and finding your ideal audience. Like, if you do not have that time, please just reach out to Katie and leverage her agency, because she will get you results. Jenny's a testament to that. So I'm excited about, yes, launching the product and doing all of that, but also just spreading the word of what Katie does.
Well, Deirdre, I think that it's really cool. And it's honestly, it's kind of a big 180-degree turn from what Capsho was originally, because that was the thing that, so fun story here. Two really cute Aussie girls approached me at a podcast movement in Dallas in July of 2022. And they said, we have this really cool new tool called Capsho. You should check it out for your podcast. And I was like, okay, I don't need a robot to write for me. That's silly. But now here I am, like one of the biggest advocates of it, because it's a game changer for the business owner. If you were creating any sort of audio content, whether it's a podcast, a live stream, even like a 5-minute long, video that you're going to chop up into, TikToks or whatever. It's amazing the way that Capsho can help you create more content from it. And that's what I was originally drawn to. I was like, oh man, I can write my emails from it. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. It has my social. And I appreciate the fact that I even told you guys, I was like, I love Capsho, but like, I'm only using it for a handful of things because it's just not fitting all the ways that, like, I feel it still doesn't sound right for social media. It's like, that's not really how you're supposed to write on Instagram. And you're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I mean this, and this. And you're like, oh, and it was really cool to see the wheels kind of turn in the Capsho team's head of like, we don't necessarily need to be creating more content for the user. How can we just create content that converts?
Yeah, for sure. You were instrumental in that, Katie. So thank you. But that is actually so from a product perspective, that the intention there of like, okay, how do we just actually like pull back from all of the noise that we're putting out there and just be like, yeah, let's just be intentional. What is the result? The result for anyone who's going to use Capsho is let's get more clients from our content. Great. Let's just help people do that. That's it. End of story. So that's what we're up to. We've been up to.
Awesome. And Katie's the one who got me onto Capsho, because I remember being like, Katie, my show notes are crap and yours are awesome. How are you doing yours? And she's like, big secret weapon, Capsho. And she's like, here, check it out. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. But Katie, what's happening going forward for you? What's the next step with the 4-post strategy? Where are things going?
Yeah, well, I published my first book, The Social Shift, and I talk about the 4-post strategy. Oh, look, and yay, we can all hold up our copies.
Oh,
Hooray!
I'm gonna hold up my copies in the office, and right now I'm stuck
Oh.
in a bedroom. There's plumbing repairs happening, so I will superimpose a copy of the book in post on it. So yeah.
No, I wrote a book, so that was really cool. I've been doing it's something that a lot of people are interested in, honestly. I'm getting a lot of speaking opportunities. So speaking at an event here in Denver for a huge shop, like merchant company. They're having about 90,000, I guess, merchants like fly into Denver for this. So that's really cool.
Big.
I said 90,000 and that sounds, maybe it's 9,000, but regardless, it's a ton of people. Yeah. So that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, going to Lima, Ohio to speak at an event there, going to Portland, Maine to speak at an event there. And it's been really cool to see people be open to thinking about approaching social media differently. So yeah, I've got a lot of speaking opportunities coming up, and we're still doing the social media, turnkey social media and podcast production here at Next Step that we implement the entire 4-post strategy for our clients with. And I've been doing some podcast intensives where it's just a 1-day intensive where we sit down and go over all of your podcasts and optimize everything to make it work for you and your business. Because as much as we love podcasting, I mean, it is a big time commitment, and you should be able to monetize it in some way.
Yeah, your intensives are amazing. That's another no-brainer on my radar. Every time you have one of those, I'm like, how do I get another one? Because it just elevates the podcast every time you do one. I think when you get to an opportunity to have somebody from the outside take a look at all the internal workings. And every time that I've spoken to you about my podcast, you've given me something new, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I implement this, I see a bump, right? And the bumps make a difference. Those little percentage points. And I talk about this for like landing pages and sales pages, which a lot of my people, Katie's making balloons on Zoom right now. It's super cute. But I talk about this for my landing pages and my sales pages, where high conversion is a big deal, right? And little percentage points make a big difference. This makes a big difference, especially when the AI works for you and it sounds more like you, or you don't have to post as much, but it's intentional posting and you're speaking to people and you're creating connections. So I'm just thankful to know both of you and get to like talk with both of you and see you both in person at times and be able to work with both of you like I do. And I'm just really excited for what's happening. And I thought this was a great venue to sort of like share that how incredible this stuff actually works. So I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us. And like I said before, it's cool to see an idea that was just living in my brain kind of be implemented into a software to make it easier for the masses to use. It's like it's the AI isn't going anywhere, folks. If you've still been kind of like robots, I don't need to use AI, or if you're just like doing basic commands into ChatGPT and copying and pasting that as your social post, that's not worth it. It's just white noise. So there's tools out there that, like Capsho, that are really trying to elevate the entire content creation game to make it sound more like you, sound more human, and they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I absolutely have. And so I'd love to encourage everybody who's listening to go and check out both Capsho and also Katie and the 4-post strategy. So with Capsho, we have a 14-day trial, and I'll put the link in the show notes for that, but you can go to jennywright.com/Capsho, and that'll get you that free trial. And then for Katie and your 4-post strategy, can I send people still to katiebrinkley.com/post planner entrepreneur, or is there a different way to get the 4-post strategy?
Yeah, just go to katiebrinkley.com and you can get the strategy there. You can buy my book. You can, get a whole bunch of free resources. Just connect with me on social media, whatever floats your boat and how you want to, grow together. Just head on over to katiebrinkley.com.
Perfect. And we'll make sure that that's all in the show notes for you as well. And then Deirdre, where can people connect with you, like on socials and stuff? Where are you active?
Facebook and LinkedIn are the two platforms that I am on, because I'm glad that I'm not on Instagram, given what you guys are talking about on Instagram. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know what's happening there. But yeah, so just my full name, which is super easy to spell out. But Jenny, I guess you'll put that in the show notes, but on Facebook and LinkedIn is where I am.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, we got to do this again soon, but it was really great to have both of you on. Thank you again. And as always, the Acquire podcast is brought to you by the Oddphonic Podcast Network. And if you liked this episode, you enjoyed it, make sure you go and hit subscribe, leave a review, let me know what you think, but make sure you go to the show notes so you get all the information for these incredible ladies and you follow them and you interact with them, because their stuff is incredible and it changes businesses. So I appreciate everybody who's listening, being part of my community, and let me know if there's anything else I can do to help and support, or any topics you'd love me to cover. And again, thanks so much for being here, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.